Okay guys, continuing with the build. What I've done so far is I've soldered the wires on for the motors, as you can see, and so 3 of them done, so they can be set aside for the moment. I need them. The next thing I was going to go on to is the thumb screws. Also in this packet you'll notice that you have something that looks similar to this. That is for going on your pitch motor, whichever one you decide, like that, for going into there. That's how it will look when it's all put together. So anyway, we'll set that aside. Now you'll notice that your screws for your thumb screws have an Allen key end in one end. What I would say is the best idea to do is entirely up to yourself. What you actually end up doing is put them together that way, so that if it gets too tight or you need to tighten it up, you can use an Allen key inside there to tighten it up. But for the moment we're going to put some thread lock, small amount, on the end of the thread, and put on the nut, and I'm going to have it just protruding just ever so slightly, just what I prefer. Leave that, set that aside. Now I'll do this for the rest of these, but I won't bore you with the rest of the video putting these together, and we'll be back in a second when all these are done. Alright guys, now that we're waiting for those to dry, the thumb screws, what we'll do is we'll use some of these screws with the star headed screws. I'll do 4 of them out. Set that aside. This is for putting your pitch roller motor together. Very simple. Snip them up. You get the general idea now. Now when you finish that, it should look something like that. Okay. Now you'll probably notice that when you've made up all of these thumb screws, that you will have one of these left over. Voila! Slide that out there just now. Now what we'll do is we'll just temporarily tighten that on there just now, just so you get the idea. Obviously. And there you go. You can see that. Yep. Now we'll put this together. What I'll do is I'll use one of the ones that I've already put together. Now I would imagine, yeah, as I suspected, get the word out properly. The thread lock is not in off yet, so we'll just tighten this up like so. And there you go. Holding it by the back of the motor. You can see it there swinging. Quite a thing. Obviously you will have one of these in here for your camera. Oops. Now that's that part made up. The next part I was going to show you was fixing the roll motor. Now, I have seen people putting this together that way. That is wrong. Turn. There you go. So, with the reverse, remember for your camera gimbal, that will, one I made earlier, obviously you'll fit that on there at a later time. You will notice that only 2 of these bolts holes line up. I have no idea the reason why for this. You will not get any other configuration unless you want to re-drill some of the holes out. 2 should be sufficient. I've had other camera gimbals running on 2 and not a problem. So we will set that one up for putting together next. Okay guys, we're back. You'll need these torch heads, just slightly the longest ones in the pack. I would have said and obviously you'll need a small star. It screws for the front of the motor. So let's go on, and hopefully this is the correct way around. But we'll get this packet open. Okay, we'll take out only 2 of these. There's only 2 that we're going to get to fit. Just put it in by hand at first, just get them started. And just nip them up. Obviously there's no instructions, that motor's running freely when you get these, so this is trial and error. I hope that people that use it and watch it will be able to benefit from it at some stage of their build, or by watching it be able to build theirs, but there's not enough lot to put in these things together. So we'll continue to put in these 4 screws. Now, as you can see, that's the back there for the controller to get onto, with a swing arm at the front. Now, the next part, I would say, would be to fit the pitch motor to the pitch arm. Sorry, it's off screen there. I'll just put these bolts in. Apologies if these bolts are the wrong ones, and it should be the smaller ones. Personally, I would try and move that around if possible, so the wires are, we'll see if we can get it going like that. Just to see if we can, yeah, we can. Just looks a bit neater, and you've not got any wires hanging down the way. No, we're not going to be able to do it, unfortunately. No, the wire will have to be down. A bit unfortunate, but never mind. Please note that I'm just nipping these up at the moment. I will tighten them properly later. Just nip them up. Okay, now all I need to do is slide this arm onto this one, like so. And put a adjusting screw through from the back, and then just nip it up, and there we go. So far so good. Right, I think what we'll do now is we will mount the top motor to this plate here. Move that over there. So we get the yaw motor, and obviously the yaw motor will be fitting like that. So again, turn upside down, line up the holes. These screws to go in there. Please note that the groove is to the top and not the other way around. Put the screws in diagonally if you can. Helps to level everything up. Okay, they should then look like this. Obviously the top plate is where you will mount your roll motor. Again, spinning this round, we will not, oh we will get four, we'll get four bolts in there. As you can see, I hope it just lines up. So we will get four, thankfully, because that's going to be carrying the weight of your camera. Okay, moving on. We then slide in tight, just run it back and forth. There we go. Take another one of your thumb screws, put it in the hole, and just tighten it up to where you want it. Now, personally, I would say before you move on to anything else is make this part up, which then allows you to attach easily then the motor. It's no big deal. I just think it'll be a bit less fiddly than trying to attach this to here, which is easily done at the moment. As you can see, just a wee tighten up, and there's your camera gimbal at the moment. Oh, you can see that. Try and get it all in shot. And there, as you can see, then we have to obviously affix that to the top bit. Your bottom plate then will obviously be sitting down here like that. That will be on top. You have your suspension rubbers to go in here, your shock absorbers, and you also have to remember to put these in the correct place. There's four round here. You've got 3 rubbers. One is for the standoffs, which is that one there, also that one there, and again the other side. These are, because it's the correct way to hang a camera gimbal, is not to have your rubber suspension units stretched. They work in a compression manner, so that when these are installed and you have your standoffs, they actually hold the camera gimbal up against the frame, and the weight of your camera gimbal and camera then compresses these. I think they might be a bit on the soft side. There is different things you can do. You can try with these if you find that they're too soft. You can put earplugs in them. I've seen people doing it. I've seen people putting in silicone, fill them up with clear silicone, and that will help stiffen them up. We'll leave it as it is, and we'll try it out to see how they perform. You might find, to your own preference, that they're too soft for you. We'll test them and try them out first. Right, I'll clear some of the space and I'll get back to you in a second when we're going to put the top and bottom plate together. Thanks guys, bye in a second. Okay guys, as you can see, we've got the suspension rubbers. Now these, just get in the hole, pull them through, and go in place. That's one done. Obviously, the way I do it is, it's entirely up to yourselves. Put them all on the bottom plate first, then put the top plate on, and play about with it and get them all installed. When I finish that, I will come back when I've put them all in. There's no point in wasting any more time. It's pretty straightforward anyway. Back in a second. Okay guys, I've just installed all the rubbers into the bottom plate. You do see them a wee bit on the soft side, but we will reserve judgment for the moment until we've finished installing the rest and got it built up. As I say, the next thing I'll do is to fit the top plate. As you notice, there'll be an extra hole here, here and here, there and there. Those are for your standoffs, and once we get the rubbers fitted in a second into the top plate, we'll fix the standoffs in, fix the motor, and we should be nearly good to go. Back in a second.